works this time. And you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They lost the Super Bowl because they suck. The Philadelphia Eagles suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? Thank you so much. It means so much to me. Hope anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this. Once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It really means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say? Please feel free, fire away, throw in the chat box. I usually check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So when I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, sometimes it's nice to talk to somebody else instead of me just like rambling on and on and on for like 30 minutes, right? So please fire away. Before I get started, anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, there's a top link. It takes you to my membership page. Okay, I got 3 different membership levels. The first membership level is called the Saquon. The second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would really, really help me out. It means so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Once again, it means so much to me. If you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? I said, so if you are subscribed, thank you. We just help support my channel out. Everything, every view, every subscriber, everything, it helps my channel out so much. So I thank you. And finally, also in the description box below, there's a little ways down, there's 2 Facebook links. Okay. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. Okay. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Right now we have over 2,700 members in the group. Okay. It's 7 days a week. I'm putting stuff in there. It's every day. But if you go there and you become a member, okay, not only do I put stuff in the group, but the members post stuff in there too. So between me and the members, I try to get at least like 10 different things in there every day, whether it's a post, a picture, a video, something making fun of the Eagles, something making fun of the Cowboys. There's a picture here showing Harry Carson on the sideline talking to Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. They got their white jerseys on. They're at home. So it looks like they could possibly be playing the Cowboys, because I know they used to like to make the Cowboys wear their dark jerseys. There's a post here making fun of the Eagles. Somebody put a picture in here showing a picture of Roosevelt Greer, who played with the Giants from 55 to 62. They got a post here making fun of Dak Prescott, so there's a ton of stuff going in there every day. Now, also, then the second Facebook link, okay, takes you to my page, okay? I'm the administrator in there, so I'm the only one to post anything in it, but I said it's just the same thing like with the group. I try to get like about 10 things or so in there every day. Sometimes in the off season, it's a little difficult when there's nothing really going on. It's tough to get a boatload of stuff in there, but especially during the season, there's always tons of stuff going in there every day. Right now, we have 881 people who like it, and there's over 3,600 people who following the page. Okay, so and basically what happens, I don't like commingle. Basically, whatever I put on the page, I don't put in the group, and vice versa. So, if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, between the two, there's a ton of New York Giants stuff every day. And I always say, right, if you're not satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. Right? With all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, I saw an article that, we could probably spend about like next 7 weeks here talking about maybe all the David Gettleman debacles that he's had. But so it was an article showing, talking about Dave Gettleman ranking his 5 worst moves. So I'm not, they're pretty good. I put one of my additional kind of things in there that I was kind of talking about, but it's hard to argue with this this article, as far as, the top 5 or ranking them or anything like that. So I got that. I read, but, don't get me wrong. Out of every 5 things he did, 4 of them were probably, if you want to look at probably 4, or every 4 things he did, 3 of them were probably bad. 1 was good. So he did do some good things, and I guess in the long run, I guess, I kind of maybe wish we had somebody else in there, being the GM and all of this stuff and everything. But, he did accomplish some good things. I mean, just some people, no matter what, I'll never give him any credit at all for some of the good things. I mean, like Andrew Thomas, right? He drafted him over the other guys. Some people, it doesn't matter if Andrew Thomas becomes the greatest tackle in history, goes to the Hall of Fame, this, that, and the other things. People are just like, you know what I mean? Taking Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones were to, some people, it doesn't matter. We won the next 37 Super Bowls in a row with Daniel Jones. Some people be like, he stinks. He had an incomplete pass the other game. What's he doing? I mean, 5 years ago, he threw an interception. The guy stinks. Which one? You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. What some of these guys do. I mean, no matter what. I mean, if you just hate Dave Gettleman, it doesn't matter who he drafted or anything like that. You're going to despise him. You're going to despise his picks, or you're going to come up with excuses why his picks weren't good or smart or anything like that. But I mean, no, I got some ones that I think that, we talk about that maybe, were some of his good moves, okay, or maybe questionably good moves. Like the first one, some of his draft picks, okay. Now, like the one, especially like with Will Hernandez, okay, we took him right after we took Saquon Barkley, okay, in the 2018 draft. We were he was our guard from UTEP. He was supposed to be, actually, we thought he was pick 34, so actually he was almost real close to being another first round pick, right? But now, did he just start stinking? I mean, I can't maybe say stinking, but why did he start going down, right? I mean, he came in his first year with Shermer, okay? Why? He did good. I mean, maybe not, he wasn't an all-pro or anything like that, but why, did he kind of start going down? Isn't he supposed to get, I mean, is it all his fault? Is it some coaching? Is it a combination of the both? I'm just looking at his Pro Football Focus right here. 2018, Will Hernandez overall grade, offensive grade was a 67.9. His pass blocking grade was a 73.1, okay? His pass blocking grade, okay, the 2 years he was with Shermer, his pass blocking grade was a 73.1 and a 72.5, okay? Then Judge comes in, okay, and his pass blocking grade goes down from a 72.5 down to a 50.9, okay? Then his second season with Judge, okay, his pass blocking grade is a 56.0. So under Shermer, his pass block grades are in the 70s. Then Judge comes in, and all of a sudden his pass block grade drops down into the 50s. Well, I mean, is that all on Hernandez? I mean, because the first year, his rookie season, he came in rookie season, okay? According to Pro Football Focus, Will Hernandez's grade, okay, was the highest it's ever been. Even this past season when he was with Arizona. This year, according to Pro Football Focus, in Arizona, Will Hernandez's grade, overall offensive grade, was a 65.4, okay? His initial rookie season, he was a 67.9 overall. So basically, after his rookie season, he started going downhill. Now, was that all on him? I can see maybe, some of it, obviously, maybe he was supposed to help pick it up a little bit. But I mean, isn't coaching supposed to be some of the, right? I mean, if he's a rookie, his pass block grade is 73.1 and his overall grade is a 67.9 as a rookie guard. I mean, don't you think that sounds kind of promising? Why did he start going downhill? Was it all on him? Kind of wonder. There's the same thing with Oshane Ximines. Okay. He's never been super duper phenomenal. But his rookie season, was it 4.5 sacks he had his rookie season? I'm in the wrong one. I got so many tabs open there. There we go. Oshane Ximines. He had 4.5 sacks his rookie season. Okay. He only started in 2 games. Okay. He played in all 16, only started in 2 games, but he had 4.5 sacks. Okay. The next season he got injured. Okay. But he had no sacks. Then 2021, okay, he played in 10 games, but he had no sacks. Then in 2022, okay, his past season, all right, he played in 50 with the new coaching regime and Wink Martindale and all. He got 2 sacks. But I mean, once again, I mean, his rookie season, he came in and he had 4.5 sacks, and in the next 3 seasons combined, he had a grand total of 2. I mean, is that all on him, or is that some of that be some kind of coaching? You see the potential there. Aren't you supposed to help bring out one of the problems, I guess, is that, being so bad and you keep changing coaches and coaching staffs and all of that, is that a lot of these guys, like once Joe Judge comes in, Oshane Ximines isn't a Judge guy. I mean, so I don't know. Maybe they don't pay as much particular attention to the guy, give him as much love as he's supposed to get. I don't know. But then like the same thing like with the Lorenzo Carter. Okay, Lorenzo Carter, his first season was 2018. All right, our first 3 picks, looked kind of promising, didn't they? Lorenzo Carter had 4 sacks. Okay, his rookie season, he only started 2 games. Okay, but he had 4 sacks. I said Will Hernandez looked very good his rookie season. Saquon Barkley, obviously, right? But I mean, shouldn't he be winding up getting a little bit better? I mean, the shame of it was, I know we didn't have any money to maybe wind up re-signing him. I don't know. I don't even if we had the money, if Shane would have re-signed him after, when he came in, because he wound up let him go to Atlanta for like $3.5 million. But in his final 4 games, I believe, of 2021, Lorenzo Carter had 5 sacks. He had 5 sacks all season. I believe they all came all in the final 4 games of the season. Now, he played in 14 games. He missed a couple of games, but he played in the final 4 games. He got 5 sacks. Isn't there some kind of potential there, right? I mean, and I said his rookie season, he had 4 sacks. He only started in 2 games. Imagine if he played all the games. Let me see. I'm trying to think. I got to find this here. Hernandez, Lorenzo Carter. He only played 442 snaps. So basically, like every 110 snaps, he had a sack. Okay. I mean, 2021, with the Giants, his last 4 games, I mean, he played 617 snaps and he had 5 sacks in his last 4 games. I mean, really, really, I don't know. Some of that is, maybe the guys aren't doing as much as they should, but other it just kind of tells me maybe it's kind of coaching. Another one of the things I want to bring up is, what he did. I mean, what we're kind of having a little lack of right now. Okay, a lot of that has to do with specifically, maybe like the Kenny Golladay, bringing him in and not being able to get rid of his contract. We had to let Bradbury go. But in the 2021 season, now, I mean, whether it's Patrick Graham's, I don't know, maybe not getting the best out of everybody, but we had some pretty nice talent there in the secondary. I mean, as long as I've been watching, we've never had this much talent in the secondary. I mean, we had Bradbury, we had Adoree Jackson, we had Julian Love, we had Logan Ryan, we had Jabrill Peppers, and we had Xavier McKinney. I mean, that's some really, really good talent there, right? And now all of a sudden, right now we let Julian Love go. I don't know who our second cornerback is going to be. I mean, we had some, you're talking about like, Julian Love is safety / cornerback, but you're talking like Logan Ryan, Jabrill Peppers, I know maybe some of maybe they were maybe a little on the older side, but I mean, there's some potential there. I mean, Logan Ryan, and I said, we had 2 really solid cornerbacks for the first time in a while. We had a ton of safeties. Yeah, I said Jabrill Peppers could play in the box. I mean, he was a little bit of a liability in coverage, but we had a good secondary. Now, as I said, whether I don't know, the coaching couldn't get the best out of them, or whatever. I don't know, but we had really good secondary, which is right now is kind of one of our weak points right now. Some of it is also, because we're a little cap hell because we couldn't keep Bradbury. If we'd ever signed Golladay, possibly, and if we stayed within our means as far as spending money, if we didn't get Golladay, we probably could have kept Bradbury last season. We still might have Bradbury this season too. We might still have Adoree Jackson and Bradbury as our cornerbacks. But so some of that is the overspending of without question of Gettleman. But I mean, we had a nice secondary there. I said I've been watching ever since 1970. I don't ever remember a nice, good, solid group of guys in the secondary like what we had in 2021. Then of course we got he drafted Dexter Lawrence. Now whether once again whether you like Gettleman or not or whatever, Dexter Lawrence was at pick number 17. I mean, I think it also has to do with coaching. It just seems like all of a sudden the Godfather came in. Okay, Andre Patterson from Minnesota. We got him in here, and all of a sudden Dexter Lawrence is a freaking absolute monster, right? A heck of a good pick. Dexter Lawrence, really heck of a, especially at 17. Okay, now and we got Dexter Lawrence because we traded Odell Beckham Jr. away. Okay. To the Browns. So we got their pick, which wound up being number 17, which wound up being Dexter Lawrence. Okay, so outstanding pick. He's going to be the rock that we're going to be able to build around for quite a few more years to come. Okay, now let's not forget. I mean, he's this unbelievable, but it's going to be his 5th season coming up. But Dexter Lawrence, a very, very good pick. And then you combine the two. Okay, now we got Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence in there. I tell you, we have like maybe, I mean, if Leonard Williams can get his neck healthy, okay, and come back healthy and all, we got a very good twosome in the front. I mean, there's not many twosomes better than Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. Okay, Leonard Williams has not missed any time at all except for this past season. So let's hope, knock on wood, that he can come back and stay healthy this season. Because if we can spell those guys, give those guys with Nunez, Roches, Nacho coming in off the sideline to give those guys a break every now and then, right? Those guys should hopefully stay fresh, right? I mean, between Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams, if we can make any type of a playoff push this year and give those guys some rest, I mean, if they can stay healthy, we got a very nice twosome. Now, as I said, I don't know what we're doing with with Leonard Williams. Kind of hoping that that they're going to do something to lower his cap hit this year to give the Giants some extra salary cap money. I haven't heard anything yet. Not only that, but are we going to try to ask him just maybe take some type of a pay cut, or are we going to try to extend his contract and add a couple of years onto it, or what? What are we doing with that? I mean, hopefully something along the lines will be coming out with Leonard Williams somewhere in the future. Okay, in the near future, as far as what we're doing with his salary this season. Because his $32 million is way too much. But, I mean, the nice 2 defensive tackles are both because of Dave Gettleman. Okay, now the thing is, the problem is with Leonard Williams is that we wound up giving up draft capital to get the guy. We could have possibly could have gotten him, okay, after the season. He was a free agent, okay? So if we just possibly, didn't jump the gun, I mean, he'd be making the deal like in the middle of the season, like it was going to turn the season around. We're going to become like a playoff team or something like that. It was a bit much. I mean, after the season was over with, okay, if he was going to become a free agent, okay, Giants could have quite possibly gotten him after the season was over with, still paid him, right? But saved the draft capital, right? So I think it was like a 3rd and a 5th we gave up for him. That may not have been the best move in the world, okay? But but the reason why we have Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence is because of Dave Gettleman, okay? Then of course, then you can also look at if you want, in a way roundabout way, Kadarius Toney, okay? Well, we traded back to get Kadarius Toney, okay? So then we traded Kadarius Toney away, got a 3rd round pick, which winds up being Darren Waller. Now, knocking on wood and all that stuff, hopefully Darren Waller, can stay healthy. If Darren Waller can stay healthy, All right, and maybe we'll be on to something here. For we got him for 4 years. His contract's not going to kill us or anything like that, right? As I said, if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a heck of a weapon. He could be our number one guy this season. So let's hope the guy can stay healthy. But that trade was because of Kadarius Toney. We also got Kadarius Toney. We got not only him, but we got the Bears' first-round pick. This past season wound up being Evan Neal. Okay, so now because of Dave Gettleman wasn't here to pick Evan Neal, but his pick wound up being Evan Neal. So now because of Dave Gettleman, for the first time, and we had when we had Deal and Soybert and Hara and Snee and McKenzie, those tackles were not Thomas and Neal. No. We've never had these two type of tackles ever. Okay, in the history of the Giants. Okay, what Andrew Thomas is. I mean, the Giants only have, I think, like two guys in Hall of Fame who are offensive linemen. Okay, the Giants and offensive linemen don't. It's like oil and water. They kind of they bounce off each other. They don't mix. When you got offensive line and the New York Giants, they just kind of miss each other. They don't blend. They don't mix. The offensive line, the good offensive linemen, they go to the other teams. They like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia. They go to they stick to other teams, right? The Giants, they stick to other players, right? Offensive linemen and New York Giants don't mix very, very well. Okay, and it's going back almost 100 years now. We're talking 1925. Okay, I believe we have just two guys in the Hall of Fame. Mel Hine and Roosevelt Brown, all right, that are in the Hall of Fame that are offensive linemen for the New York Giants. Okay, so, right, so I mean, because of Dave Gettleman, Evan Neal in a roundabout way, but Andrew Thomas, and we've never had, Andrew Thomas is a stud if he can stay healthy, right? He's a stud. Now, I'm not saying he's Hall of Fame or not like that, but he's a stud. All right, he was damn close to being an All-Pro, Pro Bowler, and all that stuff, right? Evan Neal works on his crafts, right? Gets a little bit better, especially each year. Gets a little better. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Fame or All Pro and all like that. But if he can, he's a pro's pro. He's working on it. He's working his rear end off right now. Okay, to get better. He was embarrassed. Nobody feels worse about it than him, right? He's a pro's pro. You give that guy another year or two or whatever, he's going to start figuring his stuff out. And I'll tell you what, if they can stay healthy, okay. We've never had a Thomas and a Neal before, never, and basically, a lot of that has to do with Dave Gettleman, right? We have two tackles, right? We have two defensive linemen, right? We have Azeez Ojulari, our one edge rusher, right? And we have Oshane Ximines. I don't know if we're going to keep him. He drafted Lorenzo Carter, nothing phenomenal, but he was some good quality depth, and we just didn't want to keep him, I guess. But because of Dave Gettleman, we have Andrew Thomas and partly because of Evan Neal. All right. Then, of course, we also wind up having, all right, Saquon Barkley, right? Now, I'm included in that. I still think we should have gone a different route, but he took Saquon, okay? Now, I mean, there's no denying. I mean, the dude's a weapon, okay? His rookie season, I mean, right? 1,300 yards, 1,370, had 91 receptions. I mean, he had it was 15 touchdowns. He had over 2,000 yards. I mean, a lot of that, you had with Shermer, okay. Then of course, then he got injured in 2019, 2020, he got injured again. 2021, he was injured again. He had the ankle problem, so he missed some time there. But if it wasn't for Saquon last year, we're not making the playoffs. I mean, Daniel Jones had a nice season and all that, but Saquon wasn't used that much toward the end of the season. I think maybe he was kind of wearing down and stuff because he had 295 runs last year, 295, right, and 57. So he had like 350 touches. I mean, that's a lot of touches, okay? But it wasn't used as much toward the end of the season. Okay, you started getting like 10 carries a game, 12 carries a game, whatever. But let's not forget, in the beginning of the season, when we started 7-1, right, he had a lot of touches, right? And if it wasn't because of him, all right, the Giants are not in the playoffs last year. I mean, Daniel Jones had a nice season, but all this stuff. But Saquon was our weapon last year, okay? And even after 5 full seasons, okay, I mean, he may not have that burning speed anymore. He might have lost his step, but man can still put some moves on there. And I'll tell you what, I saw a lot of defensive players lose their jock straps last year trying to tackle Saquon one-on-one, okay? Saquon's still a weapon. I'm glad he's still on the team. So that was, in the long run, maybe wasn't the best pick of overall that we could have had, okay, in that draft. But, Saquon is, he's the face of the team. I hope we can keep him. I know running backs start breaking down and all this stuff and all that happy HS and all that stuff and everything. I get it, but he's great in the locker room. He's a team captain. He's the face of the organization, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm really, really happy, I mean, for him, for New York to embrace him and for him to be loved by the Giants and all that stuff and everything, it's not easy. I mean, New York is a tough place, right? So Saquon Barkley, if we didn't draft Saquon Barkley last year, I mean, if we had Gary Brightwell and Breida, I don't know if we're going to wind up making the playoffs last year, just to be honest with you, okay? And then, of course, my number one reason to praise is Daniel Jones, okay? Now, a lot of people, cursing him and this, that, and the other thing. And a lot of people are never going to agree with them or anything like that. And, if you don't like Daniel Jones and all that, I get it. As I said, some people out there, if Daniel Jones wins us the next 37 Super Bowls, some of the people will be like, he stinks. He's the worst pick of all time. What are we doing? He threw an incompletion 7 years ago. The guy stinks. What's wrong? It doesn't matter, right? Like 50% seem to like him, 50% don't seem to despise him no matter what he does. It doesn't matter, But Daniel Jones, especially over Haskins, everybody's like, Haskins completed like 9,000% of his passes in Ohio State. He's a better quarterback. He's got to be better. Well, I mean, no. You go to Duke to play basketball. You don't go to Duke to be a wide receiver. You don't go to Duke to play. You go to Duke to play basketball. When was the last time a Duke wide receiver was drafted in the first round? I'm waiting. I mean, isn't it like every year, like, what are we, like 7 or 8 wide receivers from Ohio State get drafted in the first round? I mean, if you got like, half the draft class in the first round is Ohio State wide receivers, I guess it makes it kind of easy to complete passes. Yeah, I guess so. You have a first round draft pick, right? Ohio State wide receiver going up against Indiana. Ooh, right? Yeah, I guess you're going to complete some passes. I mean, you don't go to Duke to play football, right? So, I mean, just because Haskins completes 70% of his passes and Daniel Jones only completed like 60 or somewhere around. I mean, okay, you got to look who he's throwing the ball to, right? So a lot of people are like, Haskins, he's definitely the better player. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. So, Daniel Jones certainly has some problems, and Daniel Jones is never going to be, Patrick Mahomes or anything, but he without question, you can't question his work ethic. You can't question that. It's there. Okay. He's putting in the time. Okay. Now, whether he's worth $40 million a year, we're going to see and all that stuff. But Daniel Jones puts in the time. Okay. Now, as I said, if each year he can just get a little bit better and better, right? If next year he can get a little bit better, all right. Well, we'll have to wind up waiting and see. I mean, we got $40 million riding on it, don't we? But I'm saying, like in that draft class, Dave Gettleman took the right quarterback. Okay. So you got to give him some credit where credit's due there. All right. Now, so those, I mean, as I said, it's Dave Gettleman's the same thing like with Daniel Jones. Most people, want to hang Dave Gettleman. I get that. I can certainly understand that. I won't, some of the people I won't disagree with either. Right. But, you got to give Gettleman some credit where credit's due. Okay. All right. So now, as I said, I saw this ad. It was kind of funny. The 5, I guess, ranking Dave Gettleman's 5 worst moves since the Kenny Golladay release, right? Well, the first one I got is hiring Joe Judge as coach. Now, I also want to put in there, I want to kind of throw in there too, kind of like, I mean, What about Pat Shurmur? See, because the thing is with Joe Judge is that you took Joe Judge, okay, and he has no track record. So if he bombs, you can kind of say, it's a toss-up. It's like he doesn't have a track record. So, well, he had a track record. You knew he was going to bomb, But, I mean, Judge, wound up being the wrong pick. But, I mean, you can also go with Pat Shurmur, too, because Pat Shurmur had some history. Pat Shurmur had the same exact record with the Browns in, I think, 11 and 12. 2011, 2012, he wound up going 9 and 23. So he had some body of work to go by. 2 seasons with the Browns, he's 9 and 23. Pat Shurmur, 2 seasons with the Giants, he's 9 and 23, right? So that's why Pat Shurmur will never be a head coach ever again. Good offensive mind, okay, but just not a head coach, okay? So hiring Joe Judge as head coach, this is on fan-sided, okay? This is their number 5, right? Worst move after the Kenny Golladay release, okay? It says a year after drafting Jones, number 6 overall, Gettleman fired Shurmur, an offensive minded coach who Jones was showing serious promise under. Yep. And then hired Judge, a special teams and wide receiver coach, and Daniel Jones let's not forget, Daniel Jones under Shurmur was 24 and 12 his rookie season. Right? 24 and 12. Since then, he has not come close to 20 touchdown passes in a season. I know he had like 300,000 turnovers in his rookies. I get that. But he also had 24 touchdown passes. All right. And as I said, the same thing here. Judge went 9 and 23 in his 2 seasons as the Giants coach. So Pat Shurmur went 9 and 23. Judge went 9 and 23. Right? So, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that. I mean, then they got a picture here showing the quarterback sneak on a 3rd and 9 at their own 4-yard line against the Washington football team. I mean, it was back to back, right? I believe it was back to back. Quarterback sneaks inside their own 5-yard line instead of just trying to get it, throw a pass, get out of there or something, running the ball, anything. Back-to-back quarterback sneaks. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. All right, then they got the next one. This one's a tough one here. DeAndre Baker. Now, I could see certainly trying to jump back into the first round, and that would have gave the Giants 3 first-round picks, right? It would have been Daniel Jones, Sexy Dexy, and DeAndre Baker. But, I mean, which it was. So you can control the guy for 5 years. But, of course, he didn't make it for 5 years. It says after selecting Jones and Lawrence in the first round of the 2019 draft, Gettleman traded back into the first round to make a 3rd first-round selection by taking DeAndre Baker, a highly touted cornerback at Georgia. But Gettleman traded away a 2nd, a 4th, and a 5th round. Traded away 3 picks for this bozo. 3 picks to move up to get the corner, who had significant character concerns. That's why he would not be getting drafted by Joe Schoen, right? Baker had a horrible rookie season in which teammates ripped him for bad work ethic, and he received a 48.4 grade by PFF. In the following offseason, Baker was arrested for having an alleged role in a Florida armed robbery. The charges were dropped, but the Giants released Baker. Yeah, so I mean, then you got Baker and Kadarius Toney, put those 2 picks together. It's like, whew, yeah. Okay, then of course there was a signing of Nate Solder. Okay, now, I mean, Nate Solder, it wasn't the fact that he was unbelievably so ungodly, absolutely horrible. Yeah, he wasn't that great, okay, quite often, okay. He did have some good moments, okay, but the fact that it was a 4-year, $62 million deal, that's what wound up doing it, right? It was $15.5 million a season. I mean, Solder was just 29 years old and was regarded as one of the best tackles in football when he signed with the Big Blue. So you're kind of, okay, now we got our tackle to protect the blind side. Didn't work out like that. Once again, was that all Solder or is that some coaching too? Right? Let's see. If GMs have learned tough lessons, it should be that when the Patriots let someone go and do not sign them as they have nothing left in the tank, Solder embodied that. He quickly went from an elite tackle to an unplayable tackle. Well, he wasn't, he wasn't. I mean, he was probably obviously in the second portion of the talent pool, obviously, but he was nowhere near worth what they want to get paid. But he had to throw the money out there to bring him in there, right? In 2018, Solder allowed 7 sacks, tied for 9th most. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was really bad. But it was he the worst? No. Okay. In 2019, Solder allowed 11 sacks, the 3rd most. That's really bad. Okay. 2021, Solder allowed 6 sacks, which is still horrible, but right, tied for 14th most, which is in the middle of the pack. Okay. Middle of the pack, but you can't pay a middle of the pack guy $15-16 million a season, which is, so. And it did not matter what quarterback played behind Solder, he was going to let them get hit. He was one of the biggest busts in team history. Speaking of busts, now we have the wide receiver debacles here. Signing of Golden Tate. Golden Tate made 0 sense in the offseason of 2019 because Gettleman famously preached we did not sign him to trade him, referring to Odell Beckham. Then the GM promptly traded him to Cleveland just 1 year into his 5-year extension. Yeah. So then the Giants had to take an absurd deal to hit cap hit to trade Odell Beckham, and then the team signed Tate to a 3-year contract in an attempt to replace Odell Beckham. It's unbelievable. That plan failed. Tate was suspended for the first 4 games of the 2019 season for violating the performance-enhancing drug policy. Tate claimed it was from fraternity medication he was taking. Well, he should have known what you're supposed to know what you're putting in. So I don't believe any of this bull crap. Well, it was something. You're supposed to know what you're putting in your mouth. Okay. Right. So that's all on the player. Tate also had a bizarre interaction with Judge following a loss to Tampa on Monday Night Football game in 2020 after he yelled into the camera about wanting the ball. The conversation with Judge resulted in Tate missing practice and meetings later that week. Like as a disciplinary action. Tate had just over 1,000 yards in 2 seasons with the Giants and was cut before the 3rd. Gettleman did not want to trade Odell Beckham, then did, and then he signed Tate to appease the fan base, but then eventually cut Tate too. I mean, oh my God. And then, of course, we have the worst the worst move of all, signing of Kenny Golladay. 4-year deal, $72 million, right? I mean, as I said, this deal right here was kind of what prevented or had us forced us to let Bradbury go last year. If we could have just say, if we didn't have Golladay, and brought somebody else in or tried to get somebody through the draft or something, we could have saved a boatload of money. We would have had some money. We could have wound up having Golladay last year because Shane did not want to let Golladay go. Didn't want to let him go because we had our 2 cornerbacks, and we probably still have our 2 cornerbacks, right? But had to let him go. So somehow Golladay ended up getting a monstrous contract despite there being no market for him. No market. Gettleman masterclass, negotiating against himself. Golladay had a disastrous 2 seasons with the Giants, catching just 43 passes for 602 yards and 1 touchdown. Golladay was also in the news for something during his time with Big Blue, whether it was not for running routes hard enough, lazy work ethic, inability to separate from corners, or causing some sort of stir by complaining to the media. Golladay was a major headache for the entire organization. Golladay was supposed to be the Giants' long-term wide receiver, but he fell off so hard that he ended up playing with the Giants' 3rd stringers in 2022. He was officially released on March 15th. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Yeah, so, without question, as I said before, every 4 moves he made, I'm going to say 3 of them were bad. You know what I mean? But, if as much as we want to bash Dave Gettleman, and I totally understand that. It was not a very good signing, GM signing, and then he brought in some bad coaches, right? For all is said and done, he did have a couple of Yeah, he had a few good moves. Okay, he did have some nice things. All right, and some of the core players that we have on our team right now going forward are because of Dave Gettleman. Right? I said we got McKinney. Right, we had Love, but we just didn't want to bring. I don't know. Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence. We got Azeez Ojulari. Right, we got Andrew Thomas, Saquon Barkley, Slayton. right? It's Sterling Shepard. No, he was the guy before Reese. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley. I mean, so we have some core foundational pieces. I mean, you need a quarterback. You don't necessarily need a running back. You need a quarterback. You need a tackle, right? Maybe a defensive line where we had two with Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, right? We got an edge rusher for him. We got a safety. We had a couple cornerbacks, but we couldn't wind up keeping them because, some of the moves he made. So, so some of the core foundation, the pieces that we have on this team going forward because of Dave Gettleman. So we owe him a little debt of gratitude. I know 99% of the people out there aren't going to want to hear that, but it's true. But when he made some bad moves, I'll tell you what, that's what they say. That's what they say in Dallas. You go big or go home, baby. So if you're going to make a bad move, make it a big one. And Kenny Golladay was a bad
move, but we don't have to worry about that anymore. So, well, guys, it's been almost 41 minutes. Anybody spent any time watching me? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It really means the world to me. Or if anybody spends any time at all watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!